What we got with the
No.
ABO?
All right, well, hold on. All right, now we're live. All right, good morning, everyone. It's another episode of Soapboxing with your boy Manny, and we got who we got over
We
there?
got
Cash
everybody.
App. We got Cash App Collinsworth Boxing.
I let Wine introduce everybody. That's
Okay.
cool.
All right. Well, we have Alan Santana. He's one of our board of directees here in California, and then we have Vince, president. He's our vice president. He was appointed that position about 2 weeks ago. He's been there with me for a long time, and actually, I wanted to say this in public in front of everybody, but Laura Ramsey is now our president of the women's division.
Wow.
Yeah, she's going to take she's gonna do a really nice job. She has done a marvelous job for us. Actually, I met her in North Carolina when she fought for one of our titles. Even back then, it was maybe 3 years ago. Ernie and I were supervising two ABO title fights under Virgil Hill, his Quicksilver Promotions out in North Dakota. So he had two ABO title fights, and we just fell in love with Laura. She was beat by a native fighter, which was our first heavyweight native fighter in his boxing history. It was Sonia. Oh my goodness, I forget her last name, but she broke his. Yeah, she was just amazing.
Fox.
Sonia. Do you remember her last name, Vince?
Fox.
Sonia Fox.
Yeah.
She just was our first American champion, and she just did she put up a great fight. So Ernie and I and Laura, we started to talk a lot, and then she was very instrumental in helping us put some fights together, and we've been impressed ever since. And then now Laura just fought not too long ago, and won the American national title in Florida. And then she got the #1 ranking in the world. So, I was just flattered. I think that she's, I always said that our company is we are a fighters organization. Alan Santana, he's a National Hall of Famer. Ernie's a National Hall of Famer. Vince has been in the amateurs. He's been in the ranks. He's the CEO of the Chicago Brotherhood. That has a big, huge following in Chicago and abroad, and Montel Griffin and Leo Murphy. And obviously Francisco, our president in Texas, he was unable to join us today because he's working 7 days, 16-hour days. He's just working really hard in his industry. So he apologized. And then Alicio Castañeda also couldn't make it because he's also working a lot. So that's the direction where we're going. And we're doing things, and that's where we're at.
You got a lot of base from Manny's hometown. You knew Manny was from Chicago, right?
Born and raised. Vince, you from Chicago?
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
born and raised in Chicago myself.
Okay. I grew up in Cicero, and then I later on in life I moved over to the north side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we used to fight up there in the amateurs at about it was on Rush. Faces. It was called Faces. Yeah, it was a place we used to have back in the days we used to have show fights. Johnny Bellino used to go to those shows.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they still open?
I am not for sure. Yeah. That's been so many years ago, man, for me.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
I've been in California now for about I've been.
Well, we appreciate you guys being on. I know Alan and Vince, man, you guys are up super early. You're calling from the West Coast, California. It's 7 a.m. So we appreciate you guys coming on. What's what's going on over there on the West Coast and with the boxing scene right now? Everyone locked down.
We are all locked down. It's actually quiet. You know, Vince and I speak at least once a week. So, you know, and we're waiting for things. We're waiting for this just to blow over, man, so we can get back to work and start hopefully putting some fights on out here in California. You know, with Vince, I've been back to Chicago last year, and I emceed his the Brotherhood, Chicago Boxing Brotherhood, which was a great event. And Vince is very active, man. I gotta give him props for that. So, you know, I'm looking forward to him and I getting together out here in California and making some things happen. California's a great has a great boxing scene out here. You know, there's a lot of great fighters that have come out of California, and there's some good promoters out here. I'm hoping to work with a few of these promoters. We've been trying to get our foot in the door here with a couple of these guys. We had an ABO title fight was last year, probably right around, to my recollection, I think it was June, July, something like that. But we had a great title fight down at the Gardens Casino, and we're looking forward to doing that again. But things are good out here. We're just, like I said, everybody's kind of on lockdown right now. We're waiting for things to blow over. Hopefully this coronavirus goes away soon, but we don't know. We're actually on lockdown for another month out here. They just announced yesterday that we're going to be on lockdown till May. So it's going to be a long ride.
That's nuts. That's nuts. Well, listen, let's welcome to the show Miss Lady Ram. There she is.
Hey,
hello.
Lady Ram.
Good morning.
Hey, what's going
Good
on?
morning.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good morning.
We're gonna let Juan do a little quick recap.
I finally get to tell you face to face. Well, not really face to face, but congratulations on your victory.
Appreciate it.
Ms. Ram, why don't you tell us a little about your background?
As far as boxing is concerned?
Yes, ma'am. Oh,
okay.
Or in general.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm an educator of 21 years of math and science. I've only worked with alternative ed students. And I've been in boxing since 1996, and I came out of the Andre Berto camp. He was my sparring partner back in the day.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm located in between Tampa and Orlando in Florida. And again, I started boxing back in 1996 and went on to play pro softball on TV, and then sustained a career-ending injury to my left hand, which led me to become overweight, which took me right back to boxing. And then my first amateur fight was 2002. And at the end of 2003, I was number one in the world, number one in the nation, undefeated on Team USA. Went to Russia and Sweden on Team USA, and then in 2004, I turned pro.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Oh, you're growing, huh? Why? ABO's just getting bigger and bigger, man.
All of us. Yeah, we're all working together. Tell them how we met, Laura.
Okay, so I had a fight in North Dakota, and it was for the ABO title, Intercontinental, right?
Yeah.
It's for Intercontinental heavyweight title, against Sonya Fox, I think that's her name.
Yeah.
And you know, that's where I met Juan.
And we hit it off ever since then. It was actually a very close competition, and that fight could have gone either way. All I know is that Ernie kept saying, "Man, this woman's special. Watch what she's gonna do in a few years." And there it is, ranked number one in the world, fought for our title, won the title. None of our judges were there, because we work with the boxing commissions, and so everything was on the up and up, and I think you won by a knockout, right?
Yes, my last fight was fourth round TKO.
Fourth round TKO, what a way to go. So
wow.
She contacted me about things that she wanted to retire. And I've been talking about the presidency position for almost a year and a half. And I felt that it was a good, I felt it was a good decision to move forward with her retirement and moving forward. And, you know, the top, you know, all of us at the top, we had a conversation and we all voted on it, and it was unanimous. It was clear that we wanted her there. So one of the things about this coronavirus, guys, is that it's helping us take a step back and kind of put things the way we want them to go. So it's kind of like it's kind of like a chess game. You know, we're putting the pieces right where they should be. And you know, Alan, let me tell you a little bit about Alan, and then he can elaborate, because he's a very instrumental component in the organization as well. So Alan was not only a professional fighter, but I also met him when he worked for another organization. He liked the way we worked. I just really liked the way he handled things, and his temperament. I love his temperament. And then I liked what he did outside of boxing. He does a lot of outreach for kids. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a former police officer, and I still do a lot of outreach. Vince and Al both have come to my gym, and so they see what we do. And when I saw Alan, what he does with kids, especially teen riders that drive cars, I felt that it was he should be part of this group. And then Lady Ram just does things from her heart. She does a lot of charity stuff. And then we look at Vince. So every member of this organization does a lot of outreach community things. Now, I had expressed to Mr. Derek back in November and December that I wanted to do something for Christmas. But then he got tied up, I tied up. But now I'm saying I'm committed in helping you guys do things abroad as well, because I think that all of us have a responsibility to give back and to help. And if there's a way that we can partner with people just to make an impact or make a difference, I think we will. And I think everybody on the team would agree. When we die, we're not going to take it with us, right? So I think that if all of us collectively work together to do some charitable stuff and to do things here in the States or in the Americas, I think we'll be doing fine. That's just my humble opinion.
Juan, I want to jump in here for a sec. Thanks.
Go ahead, buddy.
I met Juan I think we were in Madison, Wisconsin, Juan, where I met you originally.
Yeah, it was 2 or 3 title fights or something like that.
Right. So I was there to supervise the title fight. I've been involved in the fight game all my life. Like so, Juan said, I'm an amateur fighter, professional fighter. I love the sport, and along the way when I met Juan, I really liked what the ABO was about. That is very important to me, because in today, the fight world today, it just for probably since the beginning of time, there's always been some corruption. Fighters have been taken advantage of. And so when I saw what Juan was doing with the ABO and creating, funds, retirement funds and insurance giving insurance to fighters, I thought that was amazing. Those are things that I always speak out about. And, I'm very passionate about that. Again, because I said too many fighters, you see them wind up broke a lot of times. You have to excuse my back, but I just realized you can see all my suits back. I had my closet open, and I didn't realize we were actually going to be on live. It's 3 in the morning, so
it's okay. It's just in front of millions and millions of viewers.
So,
yeah.
But Juan talks about the different things that I do. I wrote a book, and if you can see this book is very important. I'm waiting for one of my checks to come in from this. This is a best-selling book titled Unprotected. I wrote this to help educate fighters. This is one of the things, again, that's important to me, and being able to give back to the sport after, you retire.
Right.
This book, excuse me?
Where can we find the book?
This
How do we
book, you
order
can get it online at Walmart. You can go to Walmart and buy it. It is a bestseller at Walmart. You can go to Barnes and Noble and get it. It's available on Barnes and Noble online. You can also get it at Amazon online.
Okay.
Again, it
Unprotected.
talks all about all the different things in boxing that they don't teach you. So these are things that I learned along the way about the sport. With managers, promoters, contracts, all the things that they don't teach most fighters about, and how to dress, how to speak. So that's a good thing. And then one other book I have here. This book, again, this book I'm excited about because I'm taking this into elementary schools. This is a Reach 60 program. And again, that's important to me because I get to take that into schools across the country. I love going into the schools and mentoring the kids. When I go in, I always I have an ABO belt here. I take it with me. Kids they're very impressionable at a young age. They see the belt, they get excited about this. So we talk about, I talk about boxing. I talk about the different careers that I've had over the years. And then I'm very proud to be part of the ABO. I'm excited to see where we're going and how things are moving along very fast for us. I've been involved with the WBF. I was a past president of the WBF here in North America for quite a few years. And we did very well, but I had to step away from that because I didn't like the way things were going there. I didn't like the way, the WBF, and I can say this, they do business illegally here in the States. For years I tried to get them to get a tax ID number. They wouldn't do it. There was a lot of back and forth. So I just finally stepped down. And again, I'm proud to be with the ABO. I love what they're about. I love what Juan's about. I love what all these guys are about here. I've met each and every one of these guys when I went to Chicago, and a great group of guys. And Laura, I want to welcome you on board. I can't wait to meet you. Hopefully we'll get together in Chicago soon.
Okay, yes, absolutely. I'm actually excited to be a part of the team.
Yeah, she will be having so that you understand the structure of the organization, guys. So we have Leroy Murphy. He's the chairman of the organization. Him and I, we report to each other. We converse a lot, and then you have our two presidents. We have Francisco that handles the men's division, and then we have Laura Ramsey, our president, in the women's division. So they will be communicating if there's a co-promoter or whatever, they can talk. And Vince is the vice president, so he's there to kind of is the go-to guy if somebody gets really busy. And then we have Alan and Genesee Benedictus and Vicky Parker. We have Ernie, and all of them they have their roles. Seth Cruz, and who else am I missing? Alicio. They're there to help with everything that we do. So the organization is going to be just out there. We're really gonna just push when this whole thing blows over, to just assist, be a part of events, do whatever we need to do to assist those fighters that because we want to be that stepping stone. We want to be that stepping stone for a world title, and we've been able to do that already with 4 or 5 people, and they have benefited tremendously from fighting for our title and then moving on. One of the things with Sonia, with Laura, is that you were supposed to fight for one of those bigger belts when you fought for our title. Is that correct, Laura?
Yes. I wanted to fight for the. You mean my last fight?
Yeah, last fight.
Oh yes, I wanted to fight for the Intercontinental, and I was trying to actually urge the promoter to give me the opportunity to fight for that belt, and he said there was a lot, like 54 rounds or something, like the max number of rounds. So I actually possibly could have fought for the WBC that was vacant. and I just couldn't get the rounds in, so I had to actually end up fighting for the national belt.
See, so that's what I'm talking about. They meaning the fighters abroad have those opportunities. And we just want to be and continue to be that support system so that they can continue and prosper. And that's what we are all about. We're all about opportunities, and that's all we want to be. We just want to be the American title of the Americas.
Whenever you're building an organization or a company, it's real easy when it's a one-man team and you understand what your goal is and what your mission statement is and what your vision is. But as your team grows or the organization grows, the challenge becomes having everyone on the same page and have everyone on the same path towards their vision, and the language that's used is important. And just being on here with you this morning with your team, the message is clear. The language is the same. It's about outreach. It's about giving back to the community. It's about adding value to boxing. And that's great. One of the things that you said earlier was, right now is a great time to step back and, take a look at your anyone's organization, even your own personal self, and say, okay, right now the reset button has been set or been hit, and it gives you an opportunity to reassess where you're at and what you want to do moving forward. You looks like you got a great team, and Ms. Ram, I want to know, because Coach and I, we're always talking about women's boxing and how great it is, and whenever we get a chance to get a woman's boxer in, we get excited and we want to see that segment of boxing grow. It's exciting. So, what are some of the things you see yourself doing for women's boxing, and you being a women's boxer or being a boxer yourself, you have an insight. So, what would you like to see moving forward?
Well, like Juan was saying, just a stepping stone opportunity. A lot of the females don't know. They know about the bigger belts, all of the alphabet, but I would just like to introduce them to the ABO and tell them my experience and just all like the benefits that's offered with the ABO. And I have a fighter that's actually getting ready to make a pro debut, so I would like to be able to, introduce the ABO title belt. Even if it's the regional, just in a few fights. 5 fights, 6 fights. She'll be able to fight for, ABO regional belt, which I don't know when she'll be able to fight for any other belt that soon. So, my goal is to just spread the word about the ABO, especially down in the southern region of the United States, and let them know that this is an opportunity, a stepping stone for them. And I've already spoken to Juan. It's not just my goal to work with females. I have more experience with the guys, but I've already done it. And just introduced the ABO title opportunity, for the next wave of fights that happen, especially in Florida, to try to get the ABO on every promoter's card possible, male or female, in the state of Florida. That's my personal goal.
Nice. Well, we look forward to it.
Hey guys, one thing, again, Laura, talking about that, I have judged numerous international world title fights, and there are a lot of women's fights. And I have to say, throughout the years, I've watched women's boxing. They've come a long way. When I've been to Mexico City or, one of the other countries, there to supervise or judge a women's world title fight. It's amazing how women met, and I have to respect them. I'm a big advocate for women's boxing. And I think that there's been shows that I've been at where the women's title fights have been by far better than the men's title fights. Women they go at it. There's no warm up period for a woman. There's no feeling out period. They get in the ring.
First round.
As soon as that bell rings, and you can probably attest to this, Lord, you guys just go right at it.
Yes.
And again, exciting fights. I've been talking a lot to a lot of promoters out in California about hosting, putting women's fights, title fights on the card, because again, they're exciting. The one thing I will say, and I don't think it's fair, women, like I said, I'll talk about this all day long. I think women should be paid a lot more money than they're paid when it comes to fighting, because they're doing the exact same thing that a man does. There's no difference.
Yes.
The only difference is that, they're female. So I would hope that if promoters are watching this show, that they take that into consideration. You treat these women just as fair as you would a man. I'm tired of women being paid less money for doing something, and sometimes even better than a guy will do. So hats off to all the women out there that put their lives on the line and getting in there and box. I truly appreciate that.
Oh yeah. Well, and Lady Ram can tell me if she agrees with me or not. I'm such a big advocate and fan of women's boxing because they're undervalued. Alan. They're not. Nobody's pushing them. They pushing themselves. They put it all on the line. You get the most exciting fights. There's no such thing as ducking, because you only got X amount of people and they gotta fight each other. And so they put their heart out for it. So the thing is, I think, and me and Manny, me being a trainer side, him being a business side, we have a model of no matter if you guys, the world values us, we value ourselves, right? And put the work in and hold ourselves to a higher standard. And the women, it's the same thing. This is still capitalism. So if you don't draw the people, you don't get paid, right? So guys like us who support women's boxing, every time some loudmouth gets on social media or the news or anything and derogatory towards women's boxing, they need to do like I do. Man, shut up. Listen, man. I'm a super Shields fan, right? Now I know people, people feel one way or the other about it. There's no middle ground. But being a trainer, being born in boxing, I appreciate her boxing, right? And I understand what a gold medal in the Olympics is. And I definitely understand what a 2-time gold medalist in the Olympics is, right? So I sit here and look at her, and I'm amazed by it. And even in my own circle, even in my own boxing circle, I'll have somebody bad, man. They'll tell you they're bad mouth Clarissa, and I jump right in their ass, man. Because you don't know what you're talking about, man. This woman didn't win the city Golden Gloves. You have no idea what it took for her to compete against the world and win twice. So when I look at women and see them fighting their hearts out, I think it's up to us in the boxing community to shoot that down anytime we hear bad mouthing of the people. Because what you just said, Alan, we watch them, and they are pouring their heart. They train, not more than men, but you know what I'm saying, because nobody's giving them a shot. So they out there working just as hard, fighting the best. Who's the tomato cans? There's either elite female boxers or the ones trying to be elite. They all fighting. And I look at these guys, bro, get protected, and I'm all for protecting. We manage fighters too. I'm all for trying to get you guys their best situation. But the women don't have that luxury, man. So anytime I hear somebody bad mouthing the women, it runs me hot, man, because I know what they're doing. I understand the success, how hard it is to be successful. I understand they're not making the money, like you said a while ago. But we got to get the eyes on them, because good is good. Value is value. If you present the fighter to somebody and they recognize good, you know what I'm saying, rather than program. Look how many men fighters get sold to the public and making money. And you sit back as fighting people, you go, man, this dude's gonna get exposed. So he fight somebody. But everybody, you know, social media, all the fans, they man, this is the greatest guy since sliced bread. He ain't whooped nobody, but really lump you know, nobody.
You
But
don't even want to get me started on that stuff, brother.
Meantime, Clarissa and Lady Ramsey fighting for a title. You know, these girls fighting for titles, 4 fights, 5 fights, 6 fights, 8 fights. They fighting the best in the world because they got to. Otherwise, they won't get seen, right? So I'm a big proponent of women's boxing. I don't let nobody slide with that bullshit because I know exactly when she's talking about she's traveling the world fight, that's the world, man. We're not talking about your little golden gloves, man, here in Houston. Great. Not denouncing golden gloves, but you know, I'm just saying proper perspective. When I had a kid, when my national champion was fighting Cuba, Kazakhstan, Russia, you know, all these different places, and he's over there in the desert. Listen, man, don't denounce my kid, act like he ain't doing something. That's something, you know, this is, you couldn't even take the flight over there for 15 hours or whatever, let alone fighting, compete with the best in the world, man. So I think as the boxing fraternity, or whatever we call ourselves, boxing, real authentic boxing people, anytime somebody is, my friend, shitting on the women's boxing, man, I don't let them make it, man, because these women are not commanding the dollars yet, right? No. And you telling me I watched Lucia Riker whoop the shit out of dude one day, and in a kickboxing match, and she ended up getting stopped, but was slapping him all around the ring, and I'm like, she can't fight. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So I'm a big proponent of female boxing, and everywhere I go, I talk, and don't listen to naysayers or none of that, man, because I don't care if it's Kristen Martin, Layla. I don't care if it was any other. Our girl, our lady here in Miss Ann in San Antonio. Man, these women is fighters, man. I don't differentiate, man. I think it's up to us to promote the women's boxing. Just like Lady Ram, just like Manny said, we got to promote, we got to push it. We see a value in it. What's the longest girl we have here, man? I love to watch her.
Oh yeah, Carmen.
Yeah.
Carmen Vargas. We've had Marlene on the show.
Sanisa and Marlene won a great fight.
Oh, that was a great fight.
That was a great fight, man. What are you talking about? Yeah, we over here soap boxing and Collinsburg boxing. We big with the women, man.
Hey, now do each one of y'all
back to the Olympic Street Gym and seeing some of the first women professional boxers, and I'm going back 30 years ago, and these women were, you know, they were just amazing. You know, again, I love your passion, man. I can see how passionate you are about women and fighting. I'm the same way. I was fortunate to work a couple of big title fights in New Mexico, and Mary McGee. Yeah, you guys got to know Mary McGee. She's a hell of a fighter. And
she's great.
Yeah, she fought. Oh my gosh, I can't think. Holly Holmes. I worked the Holly Holmes fight. Another unbelievable fighter. You know, Holly was an 18-time world champion. I don't think a lot of people realize that. And you know, again, to see the thing that I thought was sad about that, you know, they're fighting in a packed arena. I mean, packed to the brim. You can put another person in that arena, and their pay, I guarantee you, they weren't making nowhere near what a man would make. You know, and I just thought that's a shame. So again, when we talk about women's boxing and equality, man, we gotta, you know, I'll step up all day long to fight for a woman, and no pun intended, but to get, you know, to fight for them to get more money. We got to do something about that.
Well, if you're right. If they draw the crowd. If they drawing that crowd and they're not getting paid, it's a problem. It's a problem with me because you get paid for it. You know, they getting paid. The gates coming. So anywhere we see that, we got to speak out on that, man.
Definitely. Now, I see. You know, I think that again, Laura, when we have a chance, we got to talk, because I'd love to talk to you about helping you push the women's boxing here in the ABO. Definitely.
Now, do y'all have your own home gym? And if you do, can you tell us a little about what you have going on at your home gym and what y'all are doing as far as women boxing there? Vince, do y'all have a home gym where you're at?
Is that question for me?
Yeah, I have a home
start
gym
with
that
Vince.
I train fighters at Kern County Fight Club here in Bakersfield, California, and we look to do the same. Bringing up the fighters, like as far as with the ABO. We get involved with the amateurs, as you know, and I think that's where it all starts. You gotta reach back, like that's what a lot of us do. We go back into grab from the roots, because you want to build the fighters up. You want this next generation to be better than the last generation, or at least in my way, the way I look at it, we need to go back to the way it used to be, because a lot of times these fighters now, the trainers let the fighters run things a lot of times, but we want to educate the young fighters now into how things are business wise and everything. You don't want fighters to come in there not knowing what's really going on, and looking at social media and just seeing where it's like all about flashing money and this and that. Now you got to know how to invest your money, but yeah, man, we
what was the name of your gym again?
Really work. Kern County Fight Club.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, here in Illinois, I have a home gym, and it's called HACP Boxing. My son runs it. He operates it, and we run it on the same basic fundamental values that Vince does in Bakersfield, California. And I also believe Lady Ram has a gym in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Ram, tell us about your gym in Florida.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to. My earpiece is acting up.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I lost communication. Hold on 1 second. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to take off my earpiece. I have a gym. It's called Big Dreams Boxing Academy. Again, we're located in Lakeland, Florida, between Tampa and Orlando, Florida. And I have a after school program where we actually pick up a few kids, elementary students. We work with them with homework, social skills, behavior management between the hours of like 3:30 to 6. And then 6 o'clock, I open the gym for the adults, and we train between 6 and 9:30.
Nice. Alan, are you still with us?
I'm with you guys somewhere here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Technology.
I'll knock mine down here in a second. Don't worry about it.
One of the things I did want to mention, and I think this is a really important topic, our rankings. Vince and Alicio and Ernie, and now Lady Ram, as she has the division she'll be in charge of. They're going to be looking at the rankings closely. Now, yesterday, Vince and I had a conversation about that. Would you like to elaborate on that, Vince?
Yeah. Well, we're speaking on like just how the rankings. It's been going. We've been doing pretty good with it thus far, but we want to make sure we tighten it all the way up. And as far as the ranking goes, we want to make sure that all our fighters that fight for a title, that they're totally qualified for it, because we get people that want to get in for a title fight, but if the record's not looking up far, don't look too good. Look like we're trying to give away a belt, So what we're trying to do is basically build fighters, we're helping out the managers as well. Because what we do, we'll get them in the position. Say you got a fighter that's 10-0, and you bring the fighter to us like, oh yeah, he's 10-0, man, and let's get him a regional title or whatever. Okay, but what we do, I go back and I fact check. I go check out, see who all he fought. Okay, now if he only fought guys that's like 0-2, 0-10, I'm like, okay, well let's put him in with somebody else that's just as qualified as him. Give him another guy that's got the same kind of backing as him, that has a 10-0 or a 9-0 with guys that's that weren't in there to win. So let those two match up, and okay, let's see if they can handle that region. And then, because your fighters, you want them to climb up. You don't want them to get to a title shot and not be ready for it. That's one of the saddest cases. You let a fighter just go throughout his career without learning, because that's the process of growing a fighter is putting them in with competition that's gonna challenge you. That's the only way that you can grow in this. And because you wouldn't put a guy in the gym and have him spawn with somebody that he can just whoop up on all the time, because he's not gonna learn anything. He get in the fight, then he's gonna look for the guy in the fight like, oh man, this guy's coming at me. Homeboy didn't do that with me at the gym, Okay, yeah, because for one, he's scared of you because you beat him down all the time. You gotta spar against guys that's up above you so you can get to that level. That's the only way we can grow in this business, and that's how we try and help our fighters grow. Which I think we were successful with that with Jessica McCaskill and several other fighters that came through our way with the ABO title.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys like Alfonso Lopez and Tigre in Texas. The pedigree and the caliber of opponents that he's been fighting, just like his previous fight was just incredible.
One of the
hold on one second. Well, hold on, and then we got. You guys hear that? What is that?
I don't know.
The smack comes from someone's microphone.
Oh, okay. So what I was saying is, guys like Alfonso, the people that are fighting, been amazing. He hasn't taken no shortcuts. He fights some top guys, right?
He's an excellent example of that too.
It's a perfect example. Alfonso, Alfonso Lopez, let me tell you something, has been amazing. And when you look at a guy like Alfonso and you look at and now I understand why all the top heavyweights like the world champions don't want to fight him. They don't want to risk it. I mean, they don't want to risk anything. So that's one. We have, say, for example, Dominguez, one of our other champions in Sonora, Mexico. Alan Solis, another Mexican great fighter. We go to New York, Anthony Leoriano, American champion with Joe DeGuardia Promotions, Star Boxing. I'll tell you, a lot of these guys have fought some big fights. And when we get the calls, now they're going to go to Vince, they're going to go to Ernie, and now they're going to talk about whatever needs to be done so we can make those happen. Okay, I'm sorry. I just needed to explain that so everybody knows where we're going.
No, that's good. Again, going back and being involved with some of these other organizations as sanctioning bodies and seeing what they did wrong. I have to give you kudos, man, because a lot of these fighters, even though we say we're a stepping stone to the bigger major titles, our fighters, when you look at them, man, they're amazing. the records they have that they come to the table with. They put themselves on the line to fight for a title. Just good stuff. It's exciting to see that. It's exciting to see that. Like I said, being with these other organizations, what was it, Juan, 2 years, and you can vouch for this. I think was it a little over 2 years we had our first fights on Showtime.
Yeah, HBO. It was at HBO, Showtime, and then the Zone.
Yeah, see that's unheard of, man. Let me tell you, because again, being involved with sanctioning bodies for probably the past 10 years myself, and when you're one of the things with sanctioning bodies, and I've got to talk about this, there's so many sanctioning bodies that kind of diluted the sport. Again, Juan and I have had several conversations about this. I've spoken to lawyers. I've written letters to Congress. I've had some phone calls with some unbelievable people that have come to me, and they said, "What do we got to do to change that?" Again, you want to talk about the ABC? We haven't even touched on this, but you bring the ABC into play here, who is supposed to regulate this the sport. And I've got to say this: sometimes they're not doing their job. When you have all these promoters, and there's a lot of good promoters, don't get me wrong, but you also have a lot, and I'm going to say the scumbucket promoters that don't do the right thing. They're all about money. They don't care about the fighters. They care about lining their pockets off of these fighters' backs. That's, again, where I have a problem. And, we've talked many times about nationalizing commissions, nationalizing the sport, where you have somebody come in and actually regulate the sport, because we're the only sport in the world, the only professional sport. We're a $1 billion industry that's not regulated properly. Now that you got me going, we need to regulate this sport. Sanctioning bodies are part of regulating this sport. Again, we're proud of what we do here. I'm so proud of what Juan has accomplished over the short couple of years that we've been recognized as a sanctioning body. And I think that if we keep doing what we're doing, we will give the WBC a run for the money at some point. We're going to give the IB, the other organizations a run for the money, because people respect us. To garner respect in the sport is huge. And you guys would have to agree with that, with all that's going on in the sport, with all the sanctioning bodies, the crazy fees. I've seen where, the fees are exorbitant in some cases. We're very fair when it comes to our fees for sanctioning fights. It's not about us making money. It's about us doing what's right for the fighters. Again, Juan and I have spoken in depth about this. Our fees are very, very reasonable. The belts we have, some of our
they're just
good-looking belts. They're good.
They're just. The fees are just. Yeah.
So they are just. And when you have a title fight, again, I see the numbers because I've worked for this. I've helped negotiate contracts. I've helped negotiate even at the weigh-ins when I'm supervising fights. They've come to me and said, "Hey, we need to, do something about these purses." I've actually negotiated purses for guys right there before the fight went on, which is crazy. So again, I'm passionate about that. We need to clean this sport up. We need to do a lot. So that's, again, that's a discussion for another day, guys. But I think you all would all have to agree with me that something needs to be done where there's a little bit better regulation within the sport itself, a little bit better policing as well.
Yeah, there has to be a form of advocacy that includes all parties. Unfortunately, you have some people that are not open to that. But that's okay. We just keep moving forward. We keep things positive, and without singling people out and without doing things, all I know is that our team is great. I am blessed with this group. This group is willing to put in the time, put in the work, have communication, have positive dialogue, and be committed to an industry that really needs a lot of help. So going on your podcast, you guys, I am humbled and I am very happy that you gave us the opportunity to talk about boxing. And, I really would hope that more people try to do things right. And it is my hope that through education, like Vince was saying, that we got to get the kids young, and like Al was saying, just having that positive dialogue, and like Lady Ram, Lady Ram, her role's not going to be easy at all. None of our roles are easy, but all we can do as a organization is to keep moving forward.
At the end of the day, the most important thing is what you're doing, and that's something that Coach and I do as well as a team. Is make sure you surround yourself with the right people who have the same vision, and then just keep blinders on. At the end of the day, when we talk about, because it's in every industry, it's the part of our human nature. It doesn't matter if it's boxing, baseball, football, any other industry, in the corporate world. There's always going to be an element of corruption, selfishness, people wanting to do things their own way, looking to how they can fill their pockets. But as long as you have your team, your vision, put your blinders on, and you pave your own road, and you keep at that, right. At the end of the day, all you can do is hope that people not only see what you do, but also fall in line with what you do, because you can't go down the path that everyone else is doing or going on, filled with the things that you as an organization doesn't agree with, and hope to change people, because we'll never change people. All you can do is pave your own road and hope that the people that are like-minded with you will join you. And again, going back to this particular time, is right now is a great time because the reset button has been hit, and it gives you and everyone else an opportunity to take a step back and say, okay, well, where are we and where do we want to go? Right. So on that note, though, let's talk about boxing and what's going on in boxing. I'm seeing a lot of stuff. I'm missing a lot of stuff, man. I want to see some boxing on the damn TV. Coach, man, what are some fights that we've been missing out on, man? I know Triple G was supposed to fight this.
Well, this corona this corona has seen Wilder, Triple G, and that Eubanks boy, because if he was gonna fight our Charlo kid here, he was in for trouble, man. But that's just opinions. But you guys being a national, I wanted to ask this question earlier. You guys been a national sanctioning body, which the way you described it was, the stepping stone to get recognized for the world sanctioning body. So, two parts. Do you guys have a set rule set for getting title shots in the ABO or being ranked? Like, was the last fight, does their last outing have to be a win, or whatever the criteria is? And that's one question. And my second question is this. I believe the things y'all pointing out that's wrong with the world sanctioning bodies, this is the perfect time, like man say for the reset, but this is the perfect time for you guys to act accordingly. In other words, even though you're a national sanctioned body, stand on what you guys are trying to change or want to see changed at the world level, because in my opinion, the world sanctioning bodies are devaluing themselves for all the reasons y'all talking about. But most importantly, I mean, it's gotten to a point where it seems they're inventing titles for guys to not fight. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this guy's number one in our middleweight rankings, but he can't whoop this guy. So let's make this guy a super champion, and he could be this kind of champion and shit. Well, that sounds great right now when you're selling tickets and you're able to pay for purses for things like the zone and all that. who's got a billionaire banker or whatever who's cutting checks. But sooner or later, you're going to implode with that shit because the guys ain't fighting the right guys. So it's still a sport at the end of the day. And I know I'm a traditionalist, I'm an insider in the sport and not a business guy, not a sanctioning guy, not none of those things. But it seems to me, when I was a kid, Tommy couldn't wait to get in the ring with Durant. Why? Because he was supposed to be the best in the world. And I said I'm the best in the world.
That's true.
Y'all make sure my money's right, and I'm gonna make sure I'm in shape. Whereas if I'm making a guy a hemorrhage champion, and I'm not picking on nobody because I don't want to get into who's our favorite fighter. That's a fan discussion. What I'm saying is, when you tell a guy, well, let's make him super champion, and I don't know the names they use, but let's make him so this guy.
Super
Man, when I heard the word regular champ, I said, who the hell aspires to be regular? You want to be regular. You want to be the best in the world. And some of it now, it's bad when you got a kid that can't be the best in the world, but he's stuck in regular field. And this guy's super whatever. So I think they'll implode. And what are you guys doing at the ABO at the national level, or on the level that you got? I don't like to devalue nothing. To me, Fonzo Lopez is my partner. We talk boxing. I love him. He's an ABO champion. Guess what? That makes me an ABO guy. And ever since then, me and Wine been talking. So here's the thing, right? Well, here's the thing. You guys got on your level enact those things. You can't say, well, we're gonna make this guy this. And when the next guy, in other words, if a guy has to win his last fight to get the shot, well, we ain't gonna give him the shot even though he won, because I want this guy to represent our title. Right? What's the criteria for them title shots that y'all using that y'all wish the world rankings would use? See what I'm saying?
All right. So to answer both parts, we do have our criteria. People haven't really followed that criteria. And we're going to be enforcing that criteria. Now, that criteria is you have to be a 500 level or better. Okay. You don't necessarily need to be undefeated to fight for our title. Okay. Now, why do we do that? Because we have seen fighters that have very less attractive, very less appealing titles go on to beat undefeated guys and knock out undefeated guys, which gets back to what Vince was saying, that the guy that was undefeated was probably competing with guys that didn't have good records, which is why his record was inflated. So,
and the 500 guys fighting whoever you put in the ring with.
And they're out there to win. Right. I've seen that 8 or 9 different times.
Oh, yeah.
8 or 9 different. I've seen that. Mm-hmm. And that just goes to show me that we're onto something unique and special. Now, you were mentioning Alfonso. What would the criteria be? Criteria, as far as like if you fight somebody beats him, guess what? A better person beat Alfonso, so that guy's our champ now. Now we focus on him. The same support we offered Alfonso, now we offer it to the champion. Why? Because he's a champ. Are we going to forget about Alfonso? Absolutely not. Why? Because he was our champion. Now, Alfonso is the only fighter. No, there's like 9 or 10 different champions that we have that have actually followed the rules. They have defended their title every 3 to 4 months consistently. And the caliber of fighters that he's been fighting have been up there. The last guy, the Russian guy that he fought, he had a pretty damn good record, and he was a former champion too.
He could fight.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Look how close that fight was. That was a pretty damn close fight.
It was competitive, yeah.
It was an amazing fight.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, the outcome went to Alfonso, so we continue to support it. But we don't have franchise fighters. We don't have franchise champions. We don't believe in that. We go, hey, you win our title, you win, you keep going. We're there for you, because it's not fair for the other fighter that's risking his or her life to get to be a champion, right? So we have to be very we have to advocate for that, and we have to enforce that, and we've been pretty good about that. Now with Vince and Alicio and Ernie working along with Francisco and Lady Ram, I believe it's just going to get even better. Why is that? Because now collectively they're going to see that, number one, it's not easy. Number two, there's a lot of factors that play into matching those fights up, and the fans will have better quality fights, I believe.
Well, it's a lot of moving parts, and because, like Alan said, there's no national commission, or it's not a league or nothing. And I'm not saying which way it should be or not, but because of that fact, we co-main event on Jamel, the Chalo brothers' first show here in Houston in the Arena Theater, and my guy 6-0 was gonna fight for a small title, but they didn't want to even be they didn't want to be recognized with that, right? So that stopped. So as a small sanctioning body, you got to deal with that. It's a lot of moving parts, managers, promoters, maybe one wants to be recognized with another title. You guys, I think it's just very important from the outside looking in. I think it's very important that the ABO to continue building its image, or its brand. Like Manny likes to say brand. I never used to say brand, but I learned to build your brand. You got to stick to that. Listen, we're not trying to be like anybody else. You got to stick to. You got to earn the shot, even if it's not like a world shot, but you got to earn this shot. You got to stick to the criteria. Otherwise, you're devaluing yourself. So Alfonso is in and for this instance, he's in a great position by promoting his own fights and stuff. So nobody can tell him he can't defend his ABO title 4 times every 4 months.
Right.
Whereas you may have another champion that you recognize. What's our guy's name? The Italian guy that lives in Argentina. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
Guido. Christian Guido.
Now Guido may take a fight in Egypt somewhere, and they don't want him to do the ABO. Well, that's not his fault. But how do you guys deal with that situation? Would you let it be on paper? He's still our champion. He defended it, or how does that go? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. One of the things that I have experienced, and the guys now, Lady Ram, as she gets into the executive component of doing things, we have found that to happen twice, and a lot of that is really all about the fighter, because the fighters are the ones that are fighting, right? Obviously, they're fighting for our titles. If the promoter or the other guy don't want to, that's fine by me. But you know what? He's still our champion. They're still trying, and they're 6 months window. Okay. Right now we have a situation where we proposed actually for Iranda Paula in Mexico to fight our number 1 fighter, Shay Metcalf. So a promoter didn't want to do an ABO title fight because they had a contract, and the matchmaker called me, and said, "Juan, I'm really sorry. I don't know why they do that, but I understand that those things are going to come up. I can't change people's minds. All I can focus on is moving forward, and not let those things distract us from people's lack of education or opinion. So all we can do as an organization is continue to move forward, because there is going to come a time where they're going to say, hey, wait a minute. The ABO is ABC compliant.
Right.
We are FTC compliant, IRS compliant, state compliant. So we are doing everything we are asked to do. If people don't want to do business with a company that is compliant or that follows the book, that's a them thing, not a me thing or a them thing, right? So all I can do, the team, is say, look, let's just move forward. Let's move past that, because there'll be change. I am very grateful for the WBC for granting a lot of the guys that have been fighting for those bigger titles opportunity. I'm very grateful for Damon Gonzalez with the National Boxing Association for looking at our guys also. So I'm very grateful for those opportunities, because we have had fighters like Danny Gonzalez, our lightweight champion, Jaguar champion in New York, fight for that WBC title and win that WBC title and allow them to work.
What about Shondale Winters?
Shondale Winter, there you go. There's another one.
Shondale Winters.
Tell him about that.
Yeah, Shondale fought for the ABO. Oh man, what year was that? That was in Wisconsin, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah. And he won the was that the regional title he had?
Yeah, he won the regional title. Yeah.
Right. And well, he just went on and he's been upsetting guys in cruiserweight. No, he was in heavyweight division, wasn't he?
No, cruiserweight.
Oh, it was cruiserweight.
He was a cruiserweight.
Okay, because I thought that Montiel said that he was going to bring him down to cruiserweight now.
He was cruiserweight. The last fight was at heavyweight.
Yeah, because he fought on that Eddie Hearns card.
In Texas.
What was that guy's name?
Joseph Parker.
Yeah. That was on the Mickey Garcia card. Mickey Garcia and Jesse Vargas card.
Vargas, yeah, I know what y'all talking about. Right. So basically, if a promoter, I'm a fighter's advocate. You know that one. I give, if a fighter asks me, I give the inside scoop. Don't let the boys say no bullshit. This is what they doing. And so it's just me. I'm a trainer. I'm a boxing guy. Born into it, and I'm not on the promoter side. I'm not against them, but at the same time, I'm an advocate for the fighters, whether they mine or not. So ABO, basically, if a promoter don't want to recognize you guys champion for whatever reason, because he's building one or he's got a relationship with whoever, y'all still credit your fighter defending his title and all that good stuff. That way it makes them feel, well, that's their fault. They not recognizing, but that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of change we need is for it, and we'll build the recognition, because one good part, Alan, for not being no national like you were saying, no commission, no regulation, is nobody can keep y'all from changing the game. Nobody can stop you from being your own entity. Nobody can stop you from doing what you want to do. And when the people start valuing that, that's what makes your title grow. In the 80s, I'm sure all of us remember the WBO wasn't recognized. That wasn't even a real title to people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They looked at it like,
The IBF too. It was
I
the
remember when
IBF.
Right.
They
I
struggled
remember
too.
when who was it? Tommy Morrison was calling himself WBO champion. People were like, what the hell is that? Now,
Right. I remember that too.
one of the best fighters in the world, Bud Crawford, he's the WBO champ. That's the only title he got. So, you know, I think it's very, very important, brother, to value yourself, and then the fighters will value you, and the promoters and all that, because you guys know the same way I know. If the ABO title becomes valuable, meaning not that it's not valuable, you know what I mean, populous, to the popular. If the people start saying, man, that's the ABO champion, that's my champion, right? Oh, watch how quick the promoters and the managers and everybody's like, yeah, man, we got the ABO title. So I think that's the important part. And then it makes these young kids, makes these fighters feel like, you know, I'm fighting for something, I'm defending something, they bagging me. And I just like to align myself personally with anybody that's doing that type of thing. A fighter's entity, a fighter's you know, a commission sanctioned body, man. So long as you guys are doing that and have that and have your own regulations, I guess is what I'm saying. Have your own regulations. Look, we're not gonna recognize this guy who's not abiding by our sanctioning body. So yeah, who cares if they don't put it on the tube or on their show, because they have their own movers and shakers, and a lot of people don't know that. And you guys know that. I had a guy tell me one time, man, the boxing people don't even let you do this. And I said, what boxing people? What boxing people are you talking about? You know, it's like the glove gate shit. Even I've heard of this. And I'm going, you know, Bobby could kill this shit just by going public and saying, guys, that's not how you put your gloves on. You can't do that. It's too many people. And so, but they don't say it, and then you got all these conspiracy fans, and I'm going, man, you guys never been in the dressing room before. You don't know how boxing works, man. You got a person, you got a person guarding the duct tape with their life at this commission. You got a person who lost for their life at this commission, and then you got another commission don't even give a damn. They just gonna come sign it soon as they see you tape it up yourself. So it's horrendous that the public don't know. But if you guys back your champions and handle y'all business and be transparent too, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey man,
I think we've been able to do all those things, Derek, just like you said, because it's really super important, you know. Filing our articles of incorporation with the state, with the IRS, with the FTC, with the ABC, the entities that regulate us financially. I want to be in good standing with them. We have to be in good standing, because that right there is going to give the organization value. You know, that's going to give people. So if, say, for example, I operate out of a house, okay. What does that say? We have an office. We have lawyers. We have accountants.
Yeah.
Follow me? So we have all those things.
It's a real thing, right? right.
Can I interject something, Juan?
You know, Juan.
Sure, you can.
We've talked about this so often, and I'll fight to the bitter end on this, man. When it comes to sanctioning bodies, good sanctioning bodies, bad sanctioning bodies, we do the right thing. We're in compliance with everything that you can be in compliant with. Again, I stepped away from two other sanctioning bodies. I've been involved with. This is my third sanctioning body I've been involved with, and I've had calls from other sanctioning bodies. I won't get involved with them because I don't like the way they do things. You know, I'm a man of morals, values, integrity. Juan can vouch for that. You know, he knows me. Vince can vouch for that. You know, if
Mhm.
if we're not going to do something right, I don't want to be involved. I don't.
Right.
I've been in this fight game for over 50 years. You know, and that's a long time. I never dreamed that I'd be saying I've been involved in anything for 50 years, but I've been involved with this game for 50 years. I've seen
Yeah.
everything that you could see. You know, I've seen people hand envelopes to people. I've seen fighters, managers get paid off. It's crazy. You know, I've seen some crazy deals with sanctioning bodies. Again, that's it. I'll be the first guy. I'll walk away from any organization if they're going to start doing things underhanded or they're not going to do things the right way. Because again, I'm going to go back to being regulated. We need regulation. I don't care if you put some promoters out of business, and if that does happen, those promoters were in this business for the wrong reason. Bottom line.
Mhm.
They don't give a rat's ass, and excuse my language, they don't give a rat's ass about the fighters. All they care about is lining their own pockets. So again, we've got to fight for that. We're doing the right thing here, and people realize that they've tried to shut us down. You know, I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but we've had it's been a constant battle. Why? Because they know we're doing the right thing. Like Juan said, we have a physical office. We have an actual office. We have lawyers
Yeah.
behind us. I've seen sanctioning bodies just
Yeah.
pop up and they're working out of their house, and they're bogus as can be because all they're trying to do is put money in their pockets off of these fighters that work their asses off, and do what they've got to do to get in there and fight. So again, props to Juan again for doing what he's doing. And I'll fight all day long for this organization, because I truly believe in what we're doing. We're doing the right thing, and at some point, people are going to start taking recognition or recognizing us because of what we're doing. That we're doing the right thing. They're going to say, "Hey, I want to fight." Boxers and fighters say, "I want to fight for the ABO because I love what they stand for. I love what they're doing to protect fighters." Because again, we're all about safety as well. There's a lot more than just getting inside of a ring and training. Fighters, physically train for months to prepare for a fight. And there's a lot more than just getting in that ring and boxing. We've got to make sure that our fighters are protected, that we look out after them, that promote. Again, I've spoken to several promoters, a lot of them that they probably don't like me. And again, I don't care. There's promoters out there that I love working with. I've worked with a lot of major promoters here in the country and around the world. And like me or don't like me, the one thing I won't do is I won't budge on what I think is right. So
Correct.
that's
Yeah.
that's enough of me talking about that. So because I could talk about that all day long, and it's frustrating for us. It's
Yeah.
frustrating.
Overall, the thing is that you look at what we're built on. We built. Juan put this together with fighters. And what better way can you build an organization without having people that've been there, that know about it, know the ins and outs, that's been in the grind. And as far as the situations that we go through, that's life, and that's the way you grow. And we do that in the gym, and that's what we all understand and we know because we all were fighters. So we know it takes, you're not going to just get to a world title fight just from turning pro, unless you are one of those fortunate people that come up and got a silver spoon in your mouth or something. But as far as hard work, man, hard work pays, and you're not going to be granted all these things at the very beginning. You're going to get things that's going to throw negativity your way and everything. You just got to withstand all of that and keep pushing forward, and it all pays off in the end. I mean, that's the thing that made me fall in love with the ABO. When I seen that Juan was what he was doing with focusing on these fighters, and that's the thing that really grabbed me, because at that time I was starting with my Chicago Boxing Brotherhood, and that's the same. That's what I want to see. I want to see unity in the fight community, and I seen how he was working with these fighters and focusing on strictly the fighters, And I said, oh man, I got to be a part of that, man. I was like, I was on Leroy, man. I was like, Leroy, man, you got to get me with you guys, you know. And finally, me and Juan had talked, and I seen that me and him, we was on the same channel, man. I was like, oh man, I got to get with you guys on something, you know. But this is what's gonna make us truly be. Once we hit our spot, man, it's going to be well worth it, and hopefully we can kick back and smoke some cigars then, Juan.
I'm always
right here. Go get him. But I think Lady Ram wanted to say something. I'll go get him.
Yeah, don't forget.
Yeah. So I just wanted to interject. About 2 years ago, I met Juan in North Dakota. I was inboxed by another organization.
Because we can't hear you. I can't hear you.
You can't.
Can you guys hear her?
Yeah.
Well,
I can hear.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Okay. So I was approached by another belt organization. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I was approached by another belt organization, and they sent me a long description of who they were. And I said, oh, yes, I know the president, Juan Curiel. So he responded back through Messenger about he was the president, and we went back and forth. And then I immediately contacted Juan. I was like, Juan, I have this guy who say he's affiliated with you, or do you know this guy? It's like, no, I don't. So long story short, I cropped the messages, sent it to Juan. And long story shorter is, the ABO is still standing. So, that was something that really, like firsthand experience where somebody else was pretending. Well, they were using the ABO in their brand. They had an ABO brand, and shortly after Juan got intervened, they changed the name and became a different belt organization.
Because I brought in the lawyers. That's why.
Right. So it's still ABO still standing, and I definitely want to be a part of that, knowing that all the I's were dotted, all the T's were crossed.
Right.
I'm always I have another business as well, and I'm always relating to people that boxing and business are so similar. Right. You have to be able to put in the work. You have to be able to, withstand a punch. You have to be able to make adjustments both in boxing and in business. And one of the things that I like to share when it comes to building your business or building your brand is you got to think about the long game, and just like Vince said, nothing's going to happen overnight. Just like in the ring, you're not going to wake up one day and have a world title. You got to put in the work. You got to be in the grind.
Right.
You got to be committed to it. But one of the things that I love to tell people is my number one goal is just to outlast everyone else. That's it. That's it. Because greatness is measured by time. If we look at anybody in history in any sport, it's the names that we talk about that's done it and is still influential. Like we still talk about Muhammad Ali. We still talk about the Michael Jordans. We still talk about, great quarterbacks because they've been able to withstand the test of time. So as you guys are building this and you're building your organization, it's great that you have your foundation solid. You have your lawyers in place. You have your business entity in place. You have all your business structure in place. Now you can build off of that, and you have your team that you're building here with Ms. Ram and Alan and Vince and the other supporting cast that are helping you build this. But at the end of the day, it's all about how are you going to outlast? If you have that mentality, right, even if it's an unrealistic one, but at the end of the day, if you wake up every morning and you're basing your decisions on, okay, if I make this decision, how is it going to add to my longevity? And is it going to add it in a positive light? You're going to win. So I just wanted to give you that encouragement of keep doing what you're doing, understanding that it's a long process. And if you can sustain that, then you guys are going to do great things like you have been doing, Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Coach, what you got, bro?
Definitely.
We ABO supporters, man. And
I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very grateful to this group, my new family. I think that when Al came to Chicago, he didn't expect to receive how he was well received. The same will go to Laura when she comes to Chicago. She will have the same experience. We take care of our own, and
We're family.
we're family. Yeah,
Right.
we do
That's
things
good.
right.
One big
We do
family.
things right.
Yes.
That's it.
That's real. That's
Thanks
real.
for having us. I really appreciate the time and allow us all to speak and talk about this amazing organization.
Yes.
Thank you. And
Absolutely.
thank you for having us.
Anytime you guys have any upcoming boxers or any shows or anything, hit us up. We'll get you on the show.
Thank you very
most
much. Thank you very much.
Do me a favor, guys. Hit me up, inbox me, so I can send a book. Send your address, and I'll send you guys my books. Okay, I want to get that book out to you guys.
Sounds
All right.
good.
And same thing with any of the title holders, man. If y'all need, they got something coming up, y'all want us to do an episode with them, why not just contact me and we'll put them up that week. And we'll
maybe I will. What I will do is I will reach to all the ABO champions, their managers and their promoters, so they can go on your show.
Yeah, no problem.
That we can definitely do. I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful for you guys giving us the floor today. It means a lot to me, and thank you very much.
Absolutely. Make sure y'all staying safe, washing y'all's hands, staying inside. Y'all are not having any issues with the virus, are y'all? Is anything hitting home, close to home to y'all?
No, sir.
That's good. That's good. That's good. We all stay safe, man. Hopefully,
right. Gotta use the arm. Yeah.
There you go. Make sure you keep your fighters working out, staying busy, even if it's at home in the garage or something.
Oh yeah. I stay in contact with my fighters out here, man. I get online with them and just communicate, make sure they working out and everything on their own.
Coach Derek's doing some virtual training right now.
That's great.
Yeah, it's called a phone call. Say, bro, you ready?
Yep.
I expect though when things get popping again, I expect plenty of opportunities for these kids, man. They ain't got no time to get back. Because once these promoters get back active, they're gonna be looking for fighters, man. They're gonna need to fill spots, man. So I'm telling all the guys, man, put your go secluded area wherever, man, and take off running, man. Don't let once we get back active, let it just be rust from sparring. Get back in there and get used to ducking punches, but don't get too out of shape, because I expect for everybody to jump back on it real fast, man. They'll be shooting offers left and right,
Yeah.
One thing I do want to mention, maybe in about another month or 2 months, we're going to be launching something. I'm not going to mention it now. I'll talk to you guys after this, and I think that you guys are going to love it. But I'd love to include you guys. I think it's a wonderful project. So we'll have a conversation during the week, and Vince, Alicio, Alan, and Lady Ram all of us are gonna work on this. I think you'll love it.
Okay, Juan.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time and everything.
All right, man. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll catch y'all soon.
All right,
we'll see y'all next week.
Bye from California, guys. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye from Florida.
All right, man.
Bye-bye from Illinois.
Have a good day. We'll catch y'all next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.